Hi everyone, it's Vesper back with another update, a tea update, this time 2 months on tea. If you haven't seen my previous videos related to tea, definitely check out the playlist that I'm making called the Tea Files, where I'm compiling all these videos related to tea so that you can find them easily. I'll put a link to the playlist in the video description for those of you on mobile, but if you're on a tablet or a computer, you should see little messages pop up on top of the video. Those are cards where I'm putting links to older videos and playlists. I'm gonna try and keep this video as short and to the point as possible because a lot of the things that I'm talking about in this video are just continuations of my 1 month update video. So yeah, you might want to watch that video before watching this one, but I guess it doesn't matter either way. As with my last update, all of the TMI stuff, the stuff that not everyone wants to hear about because it's kind of gross, will be grouped together towards the end of the video so that if you don't want to hear those things, you can easily skip those things. I'll put a warning and a time point for you to jump to if you do not want to hear those things. So yeah, anyways, let's get started. Those of you who watched my 1 month video all the way to the end probably already know this, but after being 1 month on 62.5 milligrams injections every 2 weeks, I upped my dosage to 100 milligrams every 2 weeks injectable. So I've been on 100 milligrams for the past month. There's more than one reason why I decided to up my dosage, but the main one is hormonal stability. I really wanted to be more stable because I could feel the dips and spikes, and it just wasn't very nice, especially in regards to mental health stuff. I was worried about that. And I'm happy to say that since I've been on 100 milligrams every 2 weeks, things have been so much more stable, so much smoother. I'm really glad that I upped my dosage. Not just mentally, also in terms of physical changes and stuff like that, things have been very smooth sailing. I haven't had any more sore throats like I initially had when I started tea, and my voice doesn't crack so much, if at all, anymore, but it's hard to tell because school's out now, so I don't have classes to yell at. I feel like my voice has dropped just a little bit, but not enough for people to notice without me saying something particularly low. Although I feel like my laugh has changed, interestingly. But yeah, generally I don't even speak to people like my students on the phone in this kind of voice. I automatically lift it higher unconsciously. If you've worked in customer service or retail, you probably get what I mean. I just automatically do that when I'm talking to people, and that voice, that raised voice that I do unconsciously, is always closer to what my voice was before tea anyways, so people just don't notice a change unless I am more relaxed and casually talking to somebody, and then they might notice that my voice went down. But no one has actually commented on it yet. You may not even be able to hear a voice change. It's more, I feel the change, and in my head I hear the change, but it's not manifesting itself so much to anyone else. Another thing that has leveled out since being on 100 milligrams is the increase in stamina or energy that I kind of mentioned in my last video, I think, but I neglected to mention in my last video that I am anemic, and I feel like that plays a big part in why I'm experiencing an increase in stamina or energy. Now, I'm no doctor. Please do not expect me to know what the fuck it is I'm talking about just because I experience anemia. But for those of you who don't know, anemia is an iron deficiency of the blood, and because of this iron deficiency, that means that your blood cannot carry oxygen to the brain and to muscles throughout your body as efficiently as it should be able to. And this condition is much more commonly found among people who have an estrogen-dominated body. So since I'm taking tea now and there's more tea in my system, I feel like that has kind of offset or improved my anemia to some extent. And seriously, I cannot stress enough how much this unexpected benefit of tea means to me. I'd heard of people who were anemic going on tea and their anemia improving, and in fact, when I got my pre-tea blood work back, my doctor looked at it and noted that I was anemic and kind of offhandedly commented that testosterone would fix that, and I kind of just rolled my eyes and scoffed at that. But it's happened. It's really happened. And I am over the moon about this. I could literally cry. This means so much much to me. It is such an improvement in my quality of life. No amount of iron supplements, no amount of trying to pay attention to nutritional stuff and intake more iron has ever gotten the results that even just 1 month on tea has afforded me. And it is just fucking mind-blowing, and I am so fucking happy. I mean, I've gone my entire life never being able to keep up with my peers. Even as an elementary student in PE class, I did not have the endurance, I did not have the energy to keep up with my peers, and how much that affected me, you have no idea. Even simple things like running to catch a train or a bus and nearly blacking out, cycling or jogging and nearly blacking out, man, to not have that happen as much, because I am by no means cured. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I nearly blacked out while I was jogging, but I didn't. But anyways, I've seen this improvement and it is fucking game changing, and it means a lot, okay? If you're not anemic, maybe, I cannot convey to you how much this means. It means so much that if it wasn't for tea causing facial hair and even the thought of facial hair making me feel kind of dysphoric, if it wasn't for that, this alone, this improvement of my anemia is one thing that would make me seriously consider staying on tea long term, because it means that fucking much. I feel that much fucking better. If it wasn't for fucking facial hair. Or, you know, being read as a man 100%. Yeah, that would also be dysphoric. But anyway, switching gears now. Other changes include the bags of fat on my chest becoming less dense. They aren't as firm anymore. A little TMI there, I guess. But this is good because it means that when I bind, I get the appearance of being maybe slightly flatter than before, even if in reality I'm not. But the other side of that is that my biceps have become more dense, more firm, more bulky. I've heard others say that it's much easier to put on and keep muscle when you're on tea as opposed to having a body that's dominated by estrogen. And I haven't worked out or anything, but even just looking at my biceps, and I have done nothing, I can see that, yeah, that definitely is a thing. Increased acne and pimples is obviously a thing that I'm dealing with, and it's actually not as bad as my face makes it look like it is. It's just that I have anxiety and I also have skin picking issues, and both of those things make my face always shitty even on good days. So when you add acne and pimples to the mix, my face is just disaster zone because everything is just exacerbated several times over. So yeah, please ignore my face. But speaking of my face looking like shit, for that reason I'm not going to show you a close-up of my face, but I have noticed a little facial hair growth. I first noticed it about a week ago and I was pretty distraught when I noticed it, to be honest. But it has not been enough growth to even warrant shaving at this point, so I always had a little peach fuzz above my upper lip, very, very fine and light and thin hair that you wouldn't be able to see unless you got really up close to my face and was looking for it. And it's that hair, I feel like, that has grown a little bit longer and has darkened, but it's still very sparse and thin and fine, so it's mostly around here at this point, a little here, but you can't see it unless you get really close up on my face. So I'm not shaving or anything yet, but it is obviously the beginnings of a mustache, and yeah, I don't feel good about that. I have had to come face to face again with the compromise that I decided to make in starting tea because I really don't want any facial hair, and I've just had to make myself feel better about it by thinking of facial hair as like another weapon in my arsenal of potential future gender fuckery, if that makes any sense. I mean, I don't entirely feel better thinking about it that way because I just don't want facial hair, but yeah. We'll see what happens with that, especially with all the other shit going on with my face right now. Nobody's gonna notice that little bit of facial hair growth anyways, so just keeping an eye on it at this point. Similarly, very, very sparse and fine hair that I've always had on my legs has grown a little bit longer, I feel, but I don't give a damn about leg hair anyways, so I'm not fussed about that. But anyways, going back to a week ago when I first noticed that facial hair growth, it made me really, really sad sad. And not sad because I don't want the facial hair growth. I mean, yes, I was distraught, not sad over that. But I was sad at the thought of having to stop tea so soon. And I was surprised at how sad the thought of stopping tea made me feel. Because it goes back to the whole additional stamina, energy, alleviated anemia thing. It makes me really, really sad to think about stopping tea and going back to the way things were before with my anemia, to having to be careful every time I physically exert myself in any kind of way. It's just, if it weren't for fucking facial hair growth, I can imagine myself staying on tea more so than I could prior to starting tea. And I might actually cry when I have to stop taking tea because of dysphoria, because anemia is not fun, you guys, it's not. So this is the point where things are gonna start to get TMI. If you don't want to hear about these more graphic, intimate details, then please skip ahead to the time that's on the screen right now. If you do, you can continue watching the rest of the video without having been subjected to any of that other stuff. You have been warned. Body odor change. This is a thing that has been happening for a while now. I forgot to mention it in my last video, but it is a thing. But in the last month, it's becoming increasingly even more and more of a thing. It's not just that my body odor has changed, it's also stronger now, especially like during monthly hell week. It just is not helping my dysphoria whatsoever. And it also doesn't help that monthly hell was longer than it's ever been this past month. I mean, it's probably a usual length for other people with uteruses, but for me, it's never been that long before. Bottom growth continues to be a thing, although I feel like it's slowed down a little maybe. I don't know, but that said, it's already, I don't know, I feel like it's already pretty substantial, maybe? I'm gonna leave it at that, but I'm just surprised at how much has happened in such a short period of time. The majority of it happened, I think, in the first month. And yeah, I just didn't expect it to go that fast because I'm not even on a full dosage of testosterone. I don't know. On the plus side, sensitivity has lessened. It's nowhere near as bad as it was during the first month. Thank God, because that was hard. Also, having a functioning vagina is another thing that sucks right now because discharge change, and I'm leaving that at that because even I have my TMI limits. But yeah, it's not nice. It's basically puberty all over again, okay? Which is a given, but on a somewhat related topic, I guess, is libido. Okay, I have some stuff to say about libido, but I'm only gonna gloss over that in this video because I am going to make a separate video in the near future that is specifically talking about libido and things that may or may not be related to it. I don't know. I'm still processing a lot of things, so bear with me. But as I kind of mentioned in my 1 month update video, as an asexual person who also happens to be on antidepressants, my experience and relationship with libido is complicated even before you add tea into the mix. So I'm gonna give you a little backstory first. I naturally have a relatively low libido, and that libido was pretty much murdered by antidepressants, which I started prior to even starting tea. So I was on antidepressants when I started tea, and for a while there was no revival of my libido, even though I was on tea, and people often say that tea increases your libido. But in the past month, my low libido has returned. And I feel like it coincides with the uppage of my dosage to 100 milligrams. Maybe that helped tea win out over my antidepressants, but I can't be sure. Yeah, that low libido is back, and it ebbs and flows with my monthly hell cycle, just like it did before. Look forward to future video about libido stuff. Anyway, that's all for TMI stuff and for this tea update in general. For those of you who skipped, welcome back. I'm still very much happy with my decision to start tea, and I'm still looking forward to every injection. In fact, I feel like when I stop looking forward to injections is when I should probably think about stopping tea and crying in a corner because anemia. But I'm not there yet, despite facial hair happenings. So yeah, I'll see you guys again a month from now in another tea update. If anyone has any questions that I can attempt to answer, I can't promise that I'll have any answers, but if anyone has any questions related to tea or whatever, feel free to leave them in the comments or reblogs of this video if you're watching this on Tumblr. I will do my best to reply, but either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. About that Black Panther video that I kind of offhandedly mentioned thinking about, and now everyone wants me to make a Black Panther video. I don't know when I'm gonna find the time and energy to make that video in addition to all the other videos that I want to make, but thinking about it.